Today we are going to be doing something that I have just so enjoyed. It's a pattern for a table runner, and I just happen to have Fiesta ware in three different colors: the purple, a sunny yellow, and a tangerine color. So I brought those to my fabrics and matched them up with some of these beautiful batiks. And if you're not familiar with batiks, batiks are a waxed made fabric. They're all individually imprinted, and I think they make a beautiful, stunning, bright, brilliant anything that you make. So I'm using this pattern, which I carry on my website if you're interested. It's by Jean Wells Designs, and it's called Colorwork Table Runners. It gives us an option for two different lengths, and I'm going to be making the longer one. So there's only one deviation that I'm doing with this pattern, and that is it adds a little block to the modern pattern. And I'm taking that block, I'm not using that block, so we won't be seeing that come into my version of this table runner. We are, however, going to follow the process of creating wavy lines in fabric, and it's a little bit different sewing wavy lines. As anyone knows, a straight line is real easy. Wavy lines present a bit of a challenge. So some of the tools that you'll be needing for the creation of this are simple. You want either the smallest rotary cutter, which there is an 18 millimeter. I don't suggest that, but this is one step up from that, 24 millimeters. And then you also might like to use a 45 millimeter. So in relationship to my hand, you can see the different sizes. I'm opting for the 45 millimeter because, quite frankly, my blade is sharper on this one today. So I've made about 36 inches of my table runner, and I'm going to start by showing you how fun and easy it is and natural to do this. You will not be using a ruler. So you take this last strip that you have cut 2 inches, or you can make strips 1.5. You really have no rules. That's why I guess I like this pattern so much. I don't like rules. But you take it and you cut, as you saw me do, a wavy line in it. Then for the next piece of fabric, which you can see I've cut, it was about a 1.5 inch strip. I am making mine 15 inches wide, of which I'll have to be cutting back. So we'll get to that at a later point. But I'm laying that on my cutting board, and then I am adding it underneath the last piece that I cut wavy. And what I want to do here is I want to follow that same wave with my cutter that I just created. So it's just being a copycat. Now, I don't know if you can see very close, but this piece of fabric is going to want to move. So I'm adding some of my Wonder Clips to both the top and the bottom to keep that fabric more stabilized, and it will help in the long run. You can get Wonder Clips, by the way, from my website also at www.all-sewn-together.com. So I'm going to continue on with my cutting, following the same wave that I previously cut on the last piece. Now I'll need to take my clip off to finish the cut. The next step is to take that piece of fabric that you just cut, and as you turn it over, you see it's not going to match up. So that's where we get to be creative on the sewing machine. So follow me to the sewing machine right now. So we're at the sewing machine now, and as you can see, I've rolled up my piece that I was working on, and I've brought it down to where I have my little piece on top. I've lined it to the top, right up to the corner, so our back fabric is the yellow, and our top fabric is right sides together, the batik with the blue in it. I am running those together, and I'm going to start my sewing machine right here at this point with a very, very scant 1/4 inch. In fact, I would say that it's almost even 1/8 of an inch. And I want to secure it right away with my first 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go forward about a 1/2 inch. Let me get my threads out of the way. And then I'm going to go backwards to get my lock, my thread lock. So as I go, you'll notice that I'm going to be using my right hand for the top fabric, and I'm going to be using my left hand for the bottom fabric. And I'm going to be manipulating this seam together. Now, this is a little bit slower go kind of sewing, so if you're a person that can't be a little bit patient with it, you're going to want to maybe not do these kinds of lines, but I'm just telling you, this is very relaxing for me. I love going around the curve and pulling the fabric over to join up with the under fabric, the top fabric to the under fabric. You can see I'm kind of promoting the curve even when it's not actually there. And you can see that I'm going slow enough to where I really know where my needle is going down at all times. Now I want to tell you, I don't want you to look around to the back side of the sewing machine, because when you do, you'll be horrified. You will think that you have just made the biggest mess that ever was. But I want you to just go forward as we proceed, and don't worry about puckering or not matching. As long as you keep those two pieces together as you go, it will turn out fine. And I know that my hand is getting very close to the needle, but I am well aware of my plastic foot here, so I'm really keeping close, but I'm letting the plastic foot be my safety. This last little edge is going to be probably the most drastic part of gathering the two fabrics equally. So be careful, but just pull it over, and I know it just looks like, oh my goodness, she's just going to have a major pucker there. But just be nice about bringing those two edges together as best you can. Make sure the edges are well done. Do your backup, and you are done sewing. So you can see, it just looks awful. But I don't want you to be discouraged, because the moment I put the press to it, and we're going to just always press your seams open from the top, never from the bottom. And as you press that seam open, you can see that what looked awful before just makes a wonderful wavy line. Isn't that fun?